Sir, I have been appointed and invited as a reviewer for JISH, but I really don't know what to do. So, can you please explain?
See, it is always difficult to be a reviewer than writing an article, because you have to go into the shoes of a writer and understand what is he trying to communicate to the scientific community. The processes which one must follow is to understand what is the heading of the scientific writer, and the heading will communicate to you the problems the author is trying to communicate. And usually there are two components of the heading. One is called the outcome and another is an exposure. So try and understand what is an exposure and what are the outcomes. It means that what is a problem outcome and to what you are connecting the problem to, and you are trying to demonstrate the relationship between both. So once you do that and able to decide about the exposure and outcome, which will be available in majority of scientific headings, you need to go to the objectives. What objectives then individual is trying to communicate the outcome through. So once you are clear about the objectives and what are the key points, you then go to the methodology used to derive those or to understand those objectives and what are the outcomes. So what are the possible conclusions or the discussions which the individual or the author is trying to communicate. So once you have done the objectives and you have understood the methodology used, if there is a scientific connection in that, then you will know what author is scientifically trying to communicate. Rather than putting what your expectations out of the headings and what you want, you need to understand the logic in which the author is trying to communicate his scientific experiments or his experiences. And once you have understood the part of methodology, then you will also know that what are the possible inclusion and exclusions which author is trying to work upon, so that there is a symmetry in type of methods and the objectives, and whether he has taken care of most of the variables available. And once that is being done, then you read the discussion. So whether the discussion is in alignment with the objectives, with the methodology and the variables, you will be able to connect to all the aspects of what is going on in the author's mind and what is he trying to communicate. And then look at the conclusion. So whether they are all in alignments or there are fractures. So then you will understand the introductions and the abstract, whether they are proper, and then you look at the words and what are the abstract keywords which are being used. So if you go through these processes, you will understand first why the author wants to communicate, when is he communicating, how is he communicating, and what processes he has used. So if they are all in alignment, that means there is a scientificity about the logic which he has used, rather than getting into what I want out of this article, what are my expectations, what I am looking for. That brings in lot of prejudices in your review. So learn to be with the author and communicate, and then connect with the scientific methods, whether methods he has used are scientific and logical. Now, if you follow these processes, then we evolve as a reviewer, and unprejudiced reviewer who is able to take a clear stand and give quality, constructive feedback to an author to improve its scientificity, the pattern of communication, as well as reliability.